Now, every morning that I wake up, I always wake up in gratitude. I have to thank God for showing me the truth, for being able to see all these things I couldn't see back in time, and to know the things that I couldn't know way back in time. Because since the awakening happened, I've been able to move differently. I took some decisions. I started to move differently because I would now understand what exactly have I been dealing with over the years. Now, you see, a lot of times when we're faced with a challenge, we're trying very hard to look outside of us. We're in these families, we think everybody likes you. You're in this relationship, you're seeing all these things, horrible things happening, but you think this particular individual actually loves you. And that is very far from the truth. The problem that you have always been having has been next to you. You wasn't just aware of it. In this video, I want to help you understand that sometimes you don't need to look very far away from you, because you may be actually lying or sitting next to the problem. Grand rising, everyone. Hope you guys are okay. Hope you're doing well, and I hope everything is going as planned. This is nikymus, and you're welcome to the channel of truth, enlightenment, freedom, and the channel of breaking empires free. If you're new on this channel, I talk about narcissism and narcissistic abuse. I talk about spirituality. I talk about personal and self-development. And if that's what resonates with you, I invite you guys to join us. Give us a like, share this video with friends, and you may subscribe if you haven't already. And for those that have always been with us, you are welcome back, and I thank you for your love and support. Growing up as a child, I had a lot of questions. There's a lot of things wasn't making sense. The math wasn't mathing. And I've always been a very curious person because I used to like to look at things in detail, okay? Now, you see, the thing is, I didn't have a general awareness of what narcissistic abuse was. I was under abuse for the longest of time, but I didn't know what narcissism was. The people I was around at the time, family members, I used to see how they move, things they used to do, narcissistic parents, narcissistic siblings as well. And I would ask about everything. So what does that mean? I was gaslit. What did that mean? I was gaslit. Why did you do that? I was gaslit. Now, you see, I then figured out that I really wasn't getting the answers that I needed. Fast forward, I received my awakening. It's approximately 5 years ago. Having been involved with a narcissistic individual, same thing was happening, gaslighting, blame shifting, and all the things that follow. Then I woke up one day and I discovered that this was narcissism. Then I realized that I was lucky to be removed into a certain location. I could say this was divine intervention. So God had to move me somewhere else where I would be able to think for myself and see things on my own. Then I would now understand that was abuse. This led me to go deep down this rabbit hole of narcissism to try to understand who a narcissist is, what they do, and how they operate. Then, eventually, I was able to understand that this thing called narcissism that I was involved with for a couple of years, it didn't just start in that particular entanglement. This has been a long cycle of dealing with different types of narcissists. It was just in different scenarios and settings, under different circumstances. I was able to go down the rabbit hole and I knew where this whole thing started. It is in that time when I figured out that I was the black sheep of the family. I had eventually discovered that whatever my questions was back in those years, it was concerned and it was involving narcissism. That is when I was able to get away from a dysfunctional family system. Now, I had a session, a couple of, it's about 3 years ago, I think. And I was talking to this individual. It was a very good session. This individual had been dealing with a narcissistic situation in their marriage. Now, I had done my research already. I'd already figured out a lot of things. So I was talking to this person, and I was able to put a brick into this situation, and this person eventually got free. And then I told this person that there is a chance that thing you've been dealing with, the narcissist you've been dealing with, the experience you've had in that relationship, it didn't just start in the relationship. I want you to take your time and start looking back. Walk back in time. Take your time and do some more research and walk back in time throughout your life. And you're going to discover that the problem has always been around you, in your own family home, in that vicinity. That is exactly what they did. And now they discovered these people that grew up around them, family members, parents, was actually covert narcissists. One of the things that narcissists are afraid about is a person that seems to know the truth. If you're a person who is a truth teller or a truth seeker, you know the truth. In most cases scenarios, you may engage or you may be around a lot of narcissists, and you may sometimes see through a lot of things. You may sometimes tell them things that they're doing, and they're going to try to fool everything around, overturn the whole thing. You may sometimes be taken as crazy because you're asking very delicate things that are most likely to do with them. And that thing has been a cycle that has been happening for a very long period of time. He wasn't just aware of it. A lot of times when things are happening, especially if you are involved with a narcissistic person, they are going to try to lift off that weight from that situation, and they are going to try to point you towards somewhere else. They are going to try to make you believe that whatever is happening, it could have been something you have done or something you said or something that was happening outside of you. They normally want to make it look like the situation that is going on in your life is actually outside of you, because they want to divert your attention and focus on them, because they believe or they feel you are very close to catching up on them. Is why sometimes you see when you're dealing with a narcissistic person and they start to see like you're getting to the bottom of things, you're kind of catching up on their game, is why you see those narcissistic people, either they remove themselves very fast or they're going to try to remove you very fast, because they believe you are very soon catching up on the game and you're very close to discovering who they are. So they will release you and let you go very fast before you actually know what the truth is. In many narcissistic relationships, you find a lot of victims who don't know what is happening. The person you're dealing with is diverting your mind to look somewhere else. Maybe it's the problem with the neighbor. Maybe it's the problem with these people at work. Maybe it's the problem with your brothers. They don't want you to look at them because they somehow feel you are very close to catching up on their game. I have personally confronted a narcissistic parent. That was in the last weeks, I think. I confronted this individual and I told the person that, listen, there seems to be something that is not right. Maybe we're just trying to see it in a different way, but seems to be a problem that needs to be understood. And you also need to try to figure out if you are part of that problem. That is when I experienced the narcissistic rage I have not seen in my 40 years of my life. It is when the whole mask slipped and I was able to understand what this individual was. What am I trying to mention in this video? I'm trying to make you empaths understand. A lot of you guys, victims and survivors. I want to make you understand. For you to be able to move forward, you see, you cannot be able to move forward with life when you haven't identified what the problem is. You see, when you go to let's say, for example, you have a problem and you went to the hospital for some treatment or whatever. The doctor is going to investigate that problem. Okay, maybe there's an infection. Where is that infection coming from? How much of a damage has it done? So the doctor makes you understand where the whole problem has started so you can be able to get the right treatment. The same thing happens and applies to narcissistic abuse. You cannot be able to move, you're not able to move forward properly before understanding what the problem has always been. In other words, when you see something going bad in a situationship or relationship, try not to focus on the people that is outside of you. Because I've told you guys, a lot of you guys chosen ones, you have the narcissist's biggest target. It is just simply going to be one narcissist after the other ones. It is going to be the same energy. It is only going to be different bodies. I've done a whole video on this whole thing. You'll be dealing with narcissists at work. They may do whatever they want to do, fire you from work, do things on you, mob against you and all this, gang up against you and stuff like that. But you might actually not understand that that energy actually came from somewhere. In most case scenarios, you don't even know you have been targeted for the longest period of time. There is things and experiences you have gone through. You have been under spiritual attack. The only thing that would change was the vessels, but the attacks was the same. I'll give you something to look at. Something or someone did you something many years ago. That particular thing they did or said to you, it has actually been recurring in every place that you have gone. So you have been moving to different places. It's a church, it's a job, maybe it's a marriage, maybe it was a friendship, it's a community or something like that. And you've been experiencing a similar energy with a different person, something that you can recognize that has happened to you so many years ago. When you're trying to find the root, especially if you're going through some kind of emotional or sometimes even physical abuse, I want you to focus on that person that is in your bed. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to open your eyes and focus, look very closely to that particular individual inside of your bed. I know it's going to be painful. One of the things I've realized was waking up and discovering that I had been sleeping with a narcissist for the longest period of time. It is going to be one of the biggest shockers. You will not see this coming. You're not even prepared for this. But it is going to set you free because you see, it is the truth. When you get to the bottom of the truth, you're able to set yourself free because now you understand what you're dealing with. You're able to see people for who they are, understand these people, and now you love yourself enough to be able to remove yourself from that particular situation and go ahead, live your best life. You're around this man, woman, whatever, they are treating you a certain way. You have some questions, they don't answer those questions. Are you cheating on me? No, I'm not cheating. You're making up things in your mind. That message you see was from my cousin. You know, these things you're seeing around is nothing to do with me. It always has to be something that is outside of that situationship. That person you're dealing with, they are the problem. The problem you are dealing with is inside of your bed. The narcissist is operating in secrecy. Everything that they are doing, they want to keep it undercover, so you will never actually understand that particular individual. Is why they try to play up with the brain, play around the mind games with the mind, so that your mind can start being thrown all over the place, and you will never be able to gather or see that particular situation for what it is exactly, and able to see those people for who they really are. Look very closer to your environment. In your environment, look in your circle. If you're in a family, you're seeing things, you're struggling with a lot of things in your life, whether it is relationships, whether it is work, whether it is health, I want you to pay attention. There's a very big likeliness that particular problem you're dealing with is not outside of you. It is in your own home. Look very close within the family members. For the black sheep, you're very familiar with this scenario. If it's a relationship, look at that person in your bed. Look at that person that is you're sharing with your energy. The person that you're sleeping with, that person is harvesting your energy. You are actually dealing with a narcissist. When it comes to you, the truth comes to you, you should be able to love yourself enough to excuse yourself and to step away from that relationship. In other words, my chosen ones, don't try to look so far away from you. The chances are high, if you're going through abuse, the chances are high the problem is inside of your family. The chances are high the problem is inside of your job. Let me give you something to look at before we close this video. You're in a work situation and things are going terrible. Every time you find something on your desk, sometimes you find some things in your computer, maybe you're in an office, and you're starting hearing some rumors, you have nothing to do with these things, and you're thinking somebody is trying to make you believe that the things that are happening in the office is some kind of supernatural activities. There is a person in that particular office. That person is the problem. Before you start looking out there, which may sometimes be the case, I don't say we should rule out that possibility, but before you start looking far away from you and outside of you, trying to point fingers at people who have nothing to do with you, try to look at that person close to you. You might be dealing with a covert narcissist. That means the person who is responsible for all the problems that you're going through. Chosen ones, open your eyes. It's time to wake up. Say no to narcissism. Keep your guards high. Build your discernment. Love yourself enough to step away from anybody that is probably a narcissist. Let me know what you think about the video, guys, in the comment section below. You know, I do love and appreciate your support. Please book a session if you want to. You may donate or support my channel if you want to. Everything you need, you will find it in the description below. And until then, I will catch you guys in my next one. Nikymus signing out. Much love and blessings. Peace.